Hi, I'm Kevin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer based in San Diego. Today's video is going to be all about the different wedding-related events that you can hire your photographer to photograph. To state the obvious, of course, all of these things are things that you are going to have to be spending money on, and I'm not saying you need to do these things. What this video is about is giving you ideas for if you want more professional coverage of your wedding-related events, what things your photographer could actually photograph. So if you're somebody who gets upset by videos that are talking about things that do require spending more money, I'm really sorry. Maybe find another one of my videos. I have plenty of videos that are all about things you can do for your wedding and your photography that are totally free. But this one is just for those of you guys who maybe have some room in your budget and want some of your other special events photographed. The first one, of course, is going to be the engagement session. If you guys have not seen any of my videos talking about why I think it is so important to at least try to have your wedding photographer photograph your engagement session, I will link at least one of them up here. I think it's extremely important. It really, really helps. It's not the end of the world if you can't do it. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not even going to be able to be in the same city as my photographer till the day of the wedding or whatever. That's fine. I'm sorry. There's things you can do. I've given lots of alternatives across my many videos, but anyways, I would really try very hard to have your wedding photographer photograph all of the things that can be photographed if it is actually possible. So the second one is your bridal shower. I think it is so fun to have a photographer for maybe just like 2 hours, possibly 3, at your bridal shower to photograph the events that you guys do, so like the little games you play, and just really cool photos of you with your bridal party, and then candids of everybody enjoying the shower. I have done this a couple of times. I think it is so fun. It gives me a great opportunity to get to know the bridal party so that on the wedding day they already know me and I don't have to go through that like uncomfortable warm-up period. It's not uncomfortable for me. Some bridesmaids just take a long time to warm up. But if they've already met me, maybe I've already taken some photos of them, they're a lot more warmed up on the day of the wedding, which is really great for them and for your photos. I think it's just a really fun thing to have photos of. Of course, if you guys want these things photographed but you don't want to pay somebody to do it, you can always ask somebody who has like a nice camera and knows how to use it that's coming to the shower to take a couple of photos, but please don't expect a family member or friend to basically photograph like nonstop throughout the event. That's not really fair to them. If you're inviting them as a guest, they should be first and foremost a guest, but if they could just take a couple of key photos. So that's being a little bit more fair. It is not fair to ask them to basically like work the whole event for free, but they're supposed to be a guest and they can't really enjoy it. I can't really be a guest and a photographer at the same time. It's either one or the other. If I'm a photographer, I'm there and I'm the photographer and I'm focused on my work. If I'm a guest, I don't want to take any photos. So just know that you need to be fair and that they should also be enjoying it if they are supposed to be a guest. Now the next one is the bachelorette trip. If you are taking a fun trip somewhere or a little weekend getaway, could be kind of fun to have your photographer come along with you. Maybe you let them stay in like the Airbnb and then like they can take photos of like certain specific events but enjoy the rest of it with you, or maybe you just have them come in for like 2 hours of like a really fun pool party or whatever it is you're doing. There's lots of really fun inspiration type shoots on different wedding blogs. I'll try to find a couple and link them down below of bachelorette trips. That is such a hard word for me to say. Bachelorette. But basically it's just a fun, like kind of really different and unique thing to have photographed. Now I would probably say like maybe don't photograph the really wild parts of it unless you want photos of that. Know in your mind what you would actually want to be sharing and what you would want the photos of. So maybe not the night out at like the bar, but maybe earlier in the day if you guys are doing something fun or cute or whatever. That's what I would recommend. But that's just me. I probably would not want photos of me out drinking with a bunch of people, but if we're like sipping mimosas poolside and like being all really cute, that I would totally love. Now the next set of things are going to be revolving around the wedding weekend itself. I have talked in past videos how I personally am a lot more interested in booking clients in the future who are interested in multi-day coverage, which means their rehearsal dinner, they have me to shoot that, they have me shooting the wedding, and then maybe they have a farewell brunch or some sort of final event on that Sunday that they also have me shoot. But I think the more popular one would be the rehearsal dinner. So that's just a really great time to get a lot of candidates, a lot of people smiling at the camera photos, because rehearsal dinners are usually really chill. So it's just a lot of mingling and maybe there's a couple of games, but then there's dinner. I would recommend probably about 2 hours of coverage. I require at least 2 hours. You might find a photographer who can just come and do one, and then have them shoot where people are not chewing food, or maybe they can take a break, you feed them, and then they start shooting again when other fun things are happening. I try not to take pictures of photos while guests are eating. Nobody really wants that, so I either like leave at that time or I take a break, I eat, and then I'm shooting a little bit more. So that's kind of how you can do it, but it's just a really nice thing to be able to have more photos of everybody. It makes sure that at least out of the whole weekend you get as much guest photo coverage as possible. I kind of wish that we had done this. We have some great iPhone photos from guests of each other, but it would have been nice to have more professional photos of all of our guests at the rehearsal dinner. Just would have been a really fun thing to do. Of course, you'll have your wedding photographer for your wedding day. But then the day after the wedding, if you guys are doing a brunch and you want it photographed, so this video is not like you should have these things photographed. It's like, here's ideas. So if you kind of want this photographed, that's totally an option for you. So that's all about what this is. And if you guys want your farewell brunch or whatever it is you're doing the day after your wedding with your guests photographed, that's a really fun thing to do, especially if you guys have decor set up or games. Anything that kind of sets it apart from other parts of your photos is a really great idea. If you are somebody who is interested in having your wedding published and you're having, flowers and decor and stuff at your rehearsal dinner or your brunch, that's a really awesome thing that blogs love to include if they have photos of it, is kind of the full wedding weekend story. What was the experience like? I know I really wanted to get published, and thankfully our wedding day was enough to make that happen. But if you're really interested in having that done, and again, I have a whole video on this, but it's not bad if your wedding's not published. It's not like making sure that your wedding is good if your wedding is published. It's just a fun thing. Some people like it, some people don't care about it. Some people really want it to be published. That was me. But if you want it to be published and you want photos of your wedding weekend in its entirety, it's a really fun thing to kind of include in your submission to the blog that they will really, really love. The last two things are one is kind of related to the wedding and the other is not. So the first one is a day after session. This is kind of the term that we use, and it does not have to be the day after, but it is basically a session, portrait session, where you and your significant other get dressed up in your wedding clothing all over again and go take some portraits for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. And you might be thinking, well, we already had portraits, why would we do this? And most people don't do this, but here are some great scenarios where you might want to consider it. One, if your wedding rains out and you can't get any of the portraits that you wanted to get, it's a really sad situation and you definitely want more. Two, if you wanted to take photos somewhere that's 30 minutes away from your wedding venue and you could not work that into the timeline on the day of the wedding itself, that's a great way to get those captured. Three, if you want your wedding photos, some photos taken in Iceland, but you got married in San Diego, you could totally have a day after session there. It'd be really cool if you flew your wedding photographer out there, but if you can't, you can totally choose someone local. If you're working with me, I would love to go photograph you in Iceland. But anyways, that's something you guys can do to get more portraits, or portraits in a different location, or make up for portraits that you could not get on the wedding day because of things running late or rain or some other sort of little disaster. So that's something you guys can do. Of course, that does require you, getting back into your wedding hair and makeup. Maybe you have to pay for that again. You might want a bouquet, you might not. Getting back into your wedding attire. So it's something to keep in mind. I would say it's pretty rare, but in a lot of places where it rains a lot, it's more common. Or for people who just simply want a lot more portraits or more variety in their portraits, it's a really great thing to do. And the last thing I want to talk about are anniversary sessions. These are obviously done probably around your anniversary, or at least to commemorate your anniversary. It's a really fun thing to do. Some people do them every single year with their wedding photographer. Some people might do them every 5 years. And I think it's a really great thing because a lot of the times after people's weddings, they are not photographed together professionally until maybe they do maternity photos. Or maybe sometimes it might even be when their child graduates from high school. That's such a long time. You guys deserve to have beautiful photos of yourselves, even if you do it on your 10th anniversary, whatever, your 20th. It is so nice to have photos of yourselves at a different point in your lives because you kind of are different people at that point in time. You've grown together, you have more experiences, your love has sort of evolved. So to show that through your photos is really lovely, and it's something that I think is so great. I'm shooting one coming up. It's gonna be so beautiful. We have gorgeous gowns from Marquesa for it. So excited to show you guys the pictures from it. But it's something that I think is really sweet, and you guys could gift it to each other, or again, you could do it every year. I know somebody who does it every single year, and that's a lot. But if you want that, totally do it. Or you could do it really sparingly, every 20 years if you want. But it's something to keep in mind. Don't just wait until your kid graduates, or until, I don't know, some sort of event happens to get photos taken. You don't have to have it be a wedding for you to have beautiful photos of you and the person that you love for the rest of your lives. So those are sort of all the different things that your wedding photographer could photograph. Again, I know these do require spending more money, so only do this if it's something you want and you have room in your budget to make it happen. And it's something that I think is really fun to consider, having a photographer at these different events so you guys have all kinds of really cool photos. You could put them all in a giant album together, or you could just print a couple. Anyways, whatever you want to do, or if you have a friend who's handy with a camera, make sure that you are being fair, that they are also allowed to be a guest, but just that they're supposed to take a couple key photos. So you can kind of do it a little bit more, like not DIY, but you can do a little bit more cost-friendly that way if you need to. So that is an alternative. You don't have to spend money to do some of these things, but just know that you need to be fair if you're having somebody do it for free, that you need to be very conscious of how they're enjoying themselves if they're supposed to be a guest. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like, and if you guys have any future video requests, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I have a couple of really fun collaborations coming up. I'm still working on finding a marriage counselor. That is somebody who was asked about to do a collaboration with for kind of first year marriage advice and whatnot. I'm going to be releasing a video with my personal trainer soon on all kinds of workout tips for brides and grooms to be. So if you guys want to see any other kinds of collaborations with different vendors, I know so many vendors here in San Diego and would love to do a video with some of them. So leave that in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!